Hello and welcome back to Transport Fever 2, the UK modded series. Thank you very much for joining me in this video. Now, last time out we were supposed to do a ride along, but instead I ended up trying to sort a few things out here and there, and it just took such a long time that I did not actually manage to do the ride along. Obviously I had to get a route in so that we could actually get the trains, or routes from the depot in West Brom, so that we could get the trains onto this line. We do now have trains running on this line, as you can see. So today we are going to be doing a ride along. That is what we are going to be starting with, and shortly after the intro I'm just going to show you what I've done just a little bit differently, and then we will do the ride along, and we're going to do the ride along all the way from the depot in West Brom, so we also will get to experience the new part of the route. Or if I do not choose to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to be expanding the route between Earley and West Brom, and then so I'll expand that from West Brom over here to Barnstable, and then we'll do a double ride along. So make sure you stay tuned for either a single long ride along or two ride alongs. Right, so just before the ride along, let me give you a quick show of what I've done here. So you can see I've placed some trees over here. They're not exactly the greatest things ever, but I do have some trees over here, and you can see that over in this area I've been experimenting a little bit. So we've got some lavender fields with some poppies, which I think they clash a little bit too much, but the lavenders and chamomile really does work. So I'm thinking of doing a lot more fields like that. Further up I've also got I think I've got a field of buttercups here. There you go, we've got a buttercup field over here, and then I've started putting on some dandelions. There you go, so we've got some dandelions there. I used to know an interesting fact about dandelions, and I cannot remember. I think it's a French term or something, dandelion or something like that, something to do with the shape of the dandelion itself, and that's where the word dandelion comes from. It comes from French. So there we go. So we've got these two over here. Now what I could do is I could do the Earley to Barnstable route. What a long route to go from there to there. We have to go through West Brom. I suppose that is why people would use cars if they just want to go. I'm not sure. But I think the Earley to West Brom to Barnstable route is probably going to be quite an interesting route. So what I'm going to do is I am going to do that, and I'm going to end up probably double tracking. Oh, do I double track this railway though for that kind of route? Probably not. No, probably not. I'm not going to double track that railway, but it will be double tracked from this section, so we will have to look into that. Also, what I'm going to do is just to prepare this, I'm going to put another signal just here, so I'm ready for it. There we go. Now let's have a look at where do we have a train that we can catch. We should have a train on this side, right? There it is. Let's jump. Let's hop on board this train right now. There you go. And let's enjoy our first ride along on this new line. Let's move kind of a little bit closer to it. There we go. What I'll also do is after we've done the ride along, I'll show you some ways in which I grab some of the screenshots for this series. And of course, if you have any ideas, please leave them in the comments box. It will be really helpful to have those ideas in the comments box, so that I know what I can do, what the best way forward is, because obviously I'm not an expert at trying to recreate railways in a very specific fashion, but I can try and do my best from what I've seen, of course across Britain. As you know, if I'm driving down, for example, I've driven along the M1 Northamptonshire, and there's the railway runs along there and then goes over, or even the wow, that actually looks awesome. Okay, that really does look nice. In fact, this entire place looks nice. Have I done a good job here? That is the question. Oh yes, I can add animals to the farms. That would be also rather good. But yes, or for example in London, the start of the M1, Junction 1, Junction 2, there's railways that run alongside that. If you're ever going around the M25, you'll notice that there's lots of railway bridges and you can actually see the railways going into the valleys. So there's that as well, disappearing into tunnels. If you've ever been north up to Edinburgh, travelling along the A1, you can be travelling up the A1 and there's literally the East Coast main line runs alongside and then goes underneath, and then if you pull over at where is it? I remember pulling over somewhere on the A1 and looking down at the coast, and literally you're looking down a cliff and the railway is below you right on the coastline. So, well, I say right on the coastline, it's actually road, cliff face. Is it road? Yep. So you got, in fact, it's hill, road, cliff face, hill, road, cliff face, railway, tiny little farm, sea. Not even actually, a little bit of a beach, and then sea, the North Sea. So that's another one that is really nice to see. If you've ever been to the Severn Valley, you might see the Severn Valley Railway, another steam railway. Very nice to see from somewhere like West Midlands Safari Park. You can see it in the distance. So there's that. What other railways have I seen? In Birmingham, if you've ever been to Birmingham, there are lots and lots of railways. Because of how hilly Birmingham is, a lot of the railways are elevated in Birmingham, or in tunnels, or in massive, what do you call them? Cuts in what's the name for the cuts in the land? I don't think they're quite a gorge. But that is how you have them in Birmingham, because it's just so hilly in that area. This doesn't look too bad, although I think I'm going to change the ground textures here to not be so much in the way of just grass. I think just to avoid the grass. Oh, that looks awesome. Yeah, I think just to avoid that, we will have to do that. So I'm not keen on the bridge that goes over into that forest, but once we're in there, I think the pine trees just really stand out. But yes, those are the railways that I have seen. So I'm just trying to remember the names of all those railways. So I've seen the Midland Main Line, I've seen the East Coast Main Line, I've seen the Chiltern Main Line, I've seen the Great Western Railway, of course. I've also seen the Great Western Railway going from Paddington, goes all the way out. I haven't seen it down on the Cornish coast. I have seen it out of London, going out of London, going towards Slough, going towards Reading, and then Swindon and beyond. So I have seen it going out that way. I have not seen the... I'm just trying to think whether I've seen the West Coast Main Line or not. I do not believe I have. Steve, if you're watching this video, I think the hissing noises from the valves is a little bit too loud. If you want to drop the volume for that, that would be really cool. I think you've just got it just a bit too loud, or the fall off is the distance fall off is too far, so you can hear those from quite a ways away. Again, here I'm thinking I could perhaps perhaps turn this into some sort of rock formation sort of thing. Maybe that would look more realistic. I'm also thinking of perhaps pushing this back a little bit and then straightening it out. That might even work even better, I think. I'm not 100% sure. Like this, see this, the rock texture. I think that just seems to work a little bit better. There's always these little bits of hitting the brakes. I'm still trying to work out what it is. Somebody told me that he thinks it's a bug because the speed doesn't drop off, which is true, but I'm just a little bit curious about that. There's more of the forest. That looks awesome out there. You can see Barnstable Station. I've got one of those wheat farms over there. Lots of farmland. Somebody did once ask me whether I place all this by hand. Yes, I place all of this by hand. If you've seen on the time-lapse, occasionally I have it on the time-lapse. Sometimes I do not have it on the time-lapse and I do it off camera. I'm not sure if this section was done on time-lapse or off camera. I think it was off camera. Thank you, Autosave, for coming along at a really bad moment in time. We were starting to really get this journey done rather nicely. You know what I could do? I could just do a Barnstable to West Brom route. Just 2 trains running Barnstable to West Brom. And then we can always work a little bit more on that. I may do that then. Obviously I want to set this up and get it going. But this hasn't been too bad. We've had we've been going for about 10 minutes, I guess, on this particular one. The bridge does need a little bit of work. I will admit that. And we are now slowing down as we go across to 25 miles per hour as per the sign. That is really awesome. As per the sign, and into the station. That was actually pretty nicely done. I'm quite happy about the way that has panned out. But there we are now in Barnstable. Now obviously if this was a proper thing that I was doing, I would have a turnaround. But since we're going to be extending this line, I think a turnaround is wholly unnecessary. Unless we just end the line here. No. We could. I have seen ones where, I think, for example, at Charing Cross Station. Awesome whistle. Charing Cross Station just ends up just like this. You go into the station and that is it. That is the terminus. Up to 40 miles per hour. Should we do the return journey? Let's do the return journey so we can see how this looks on the way back. You can see the river over there as well. That is looking pretty nice. I find this embankment, this bridge, to be a little bit high, but overall it isn't too bad. It is just a little bit higher than I would like, perhaps by about 2 or 3 meters. But that isn't bad at all. Now in real life, as I mentioned last episode, if there was a Attleborough to Barnstable or Barnstable to Attleborough route, it would take hours because of the geographic location between them. In fact, what I will do is I'm just going to, whilst we're doing this, I might as well find out exactly what the distance is as the crow flies. Let's find the distance between Attleborough and Barnstable. So Barnstable is down over here. There it is. And Barnstable. let's go ahead and... Where's the station? Barnstaple railway station. Not the old railway station. Wait. Does Barnstaple no longer have a railway station? Is that a... Well, there's the old railway line. Barnstaple doesn't have a railway station anymore. Right, okay. Not one that I can find easily. So I'm just going to add a point there. And let's continue up. Past Bridgewater. Past Warminster. Past Salisbury. Andover. Newbury. Basingstoke. There's Reading. Watford. Welling Garden City. We're almost where we need to be. Saffron Walden, which I'm sure some people have heard of before from my first series. Sudbury, it's around this area. Hasselbroug's around this area. Where is it now? I know it's around, I know for a fact it is around this area, because I've seen this before. Snetterton. Oh, now we're stopped in traffic. Ah, those trees need to go because that signal cannot be seen. Right, that is something I'm going to have to do. There's Snetterton. That's a racing track though. Yep, there's a race circuit. That is not... There it is, Attleborough. Right, yes, Snetterton. Okay. By the way, Attleborough does have a railway station. And it is... in miles, 239 miles. There you go. 239 miles. Attleborough to Barnstaple. We have to cross the Severn Estuary at quite an angle, and we basically go straight through Bristol. I think we go through Bristol at Filton, it looks like. What other places do we go through? We go through Cirencester, Burford. We cross the M40 right near Bicester. Yep, M40 near Bicester. I think is that Gloucester Airport? No. What airport is that now? Off the M40. Oh, here comes that train. Not a clue. What else do we go through? Buckingham. We could stop in Buckingham. And we would also end up going through Milton Keynes, so we'd have to stop in Landor Roundabouts. Straight past Cranfield Airport. Straight through Bedford. Yep, we'll be going straight through Bedford, across the River Great Ouse. Past Bar Hill, Cottenham, Chittering, Soham, Mildenhall. We wouldn't be allowed to do that. Through RAF Lakenheath, through the area where you're really not allowed to be, straight into Attleborough. There you go. So that is the way that one would work. So that could have been an interesting route in real life. So we've managed to see one small problem with this, so we're going to sort out that problem momentarily. First we want to go through the pine forest again. So here we go. I do think this forest looks really quite nice, but I do need to... Oh, elk. Deer, really, stag. Hit the brakes again. It is this part that I'm not particularly keen on. I mean, leave it in the comments what your thoughts on this particular part are, where we're climbing up the hill. So going up the gradients here, I'm not all too keen on the grade. I'm not all too keen on the grade for starters, and I'm also not all too keen on sort of how high up we end up. And that is the other thing I need to work out. But the reason we did that is because of the other side, which as you can see, the road comes up to meet the track. Even the track continues going up as well, as we're stuck at another red signal, which is fine. Although in this one I do not have much to talk about. Should we continue this all the way to the end? I think we do not need to continue this all the way to the end. Train's going to be a while anyway. In the meantime, what I will do is I'm going to come along here and clear up these assets. We must have a clear path to the signal. So as you're coming along here, can you see the signal? Yes, now you can see. So you're coming along here. Yes, you can see the signal from this point here, I believe. Yes, you can. Now, the only concern I have is that realistically we should have a distance signal for this, not just the home. So we've got the home signal there. Really, we should have a distance signal probably about here for that particular signal, so that we can see it and we can be prepared for it. But it seems like that is not the case at this point in time. Right. So we've had that one. Let's take a look at this one. Now these trains are ending up very, very busy. So that's something else I want to take in mind, or take into account. This is ending up being more of a... I think this has ended up as more of a main line than I was expecting. It is really busy. So the question is, what do I do? I need to upgrade these trains, that much is for certain. I do need to upgrade these trains because, well, you can see the problem. The only other option I can think of is to do an Attleborough to West Brom route and a Barnstable to West Brom route, and have... Or I could have the trains doing like a weird triangle thing. So we'd have it going Barnstable, West Brom, Attleborough, Barnstable, West Brom, Attleborough, Barnstable, West Brom. Or we could do Barnstable, West Brom, Attleborough, West Brom, Barnstable. And it just bounces like that. Which means that this section of track, this tiny little bit here, would never be used because we're going to peel off in this direction. And this tiny bit here is never ever going to be used. So that is our other option. Because instead of doing the direct one, or I can do the Earley West Brom. Let's do the Earley West Brom. Yeah, let's do the Earley West Brom route. Double tracking this is going to be an interesting one though, given where I've put the trees and all of that kind of stuff. Do I want to double track this entire route? Do I really need to double track the entire route? Or can I get away with passing points? I probably could get away with passing points. In fact, to such an extent, I could probably get away with passing points on this section too. And the only reason I have this double tracked is because of what we were doing here. So I could in theory bring this back down to a single track, similar to how I've done this. I can bring this down to a single track, have a couple of passing points, for example here, So I have a passing point there. And let that do what it needs to do. Let me know in the comments for that as well. But what I'm going to do in the meantime is I'm going to manage this line. And we are going to go West Brom, Earley. Alright, how am I going to do this? I'm going to go Earley. Can I move the order? Can I change the order of this? Probably not. Earley to West Brom. To Barnstable. To West Brom. Back to Earley. I'm also going to change the colour of this line. So that it is easier to see here. There we go. That will do. Where are the trains now? There they are. And we are going to have to upgrade both of these trains. So time to do a train replacement. And the replacement for these is going to be not that. Not that either. Top speed of this train is, it's a saddle tank, right? So where's the saddle tank? Wow, 1830s locomotives. Look at that. No, we're not going to be running those. We're going to go we could go for those. This is what we had, wasn't it? Something like this. These all 25, 30, 32. No, they're too slow. There's a saddle tank. There it is. 31 miles per hour. So if we now go to a tender engine, we can have 40 miles per hour. And we can just have it wandering around at 40. I think that is reasonable. We can have some darker green engines as well. Obviously, I'm going to try and keep a theme with the engines. We don't want too many different types of engines. And for the passenger, what do we have? We have the four-wheel Earley. So we have these. These can do a maximum of 45 miles per hour. What if I went for these? That's 50 miles per hour. No, let's go for these because I do like how these look. 45 miles per hour is fine for now. I do need to change the colour of this. Like a creamy. I want to go for a creamy colour. That colour's nice. There we go. So what would I like on this? It's a bit more of a journey. So we'll put in a front brake. What's the different styles here? We'll put in that front brake. There's no first class on this train. We'll just have some third class. So that's the 12. We'll do 18. And then we'll have a rear brake. Like that. There we go. 24. So we'll do that. Wait for that to be replaced. There they are. That's now replaced. Oh, that looks terrible. That genuinely looks atrocious. I mean, the engine looks awesome. The engine looks awesome. That looks atrocious. The colours of it. Also, I need to take a photo here, so I'm going to do that too. Once I've decided what colours we need. So the locomotive we've sorted out is this one in that deep green, which is looking great. This is not what I wanted. So what colours can we go for then? So that one was too much. We could go for that kind of colour. Or we can just go for like a brown. No, I'd rather not have a brown or a grey or anything like that. I do want these cream-like colours. Let's try that one. Let's make a difference first. I need to see which one I'm going to pick. We'll always pick the second, should we? Yeah, let's always pick the second. So there it is. There's one. There's 2, 3. Let's do this for the break. There. Okay. That looks better. I'm still not all too keen on it, to be completely honest. I'm not all too keen on those colours either. So I'm working on it. I am working on it. Could just use the brown. Green, brown. No. I'm going to keep this. Let's do this. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take a screenshot here because I think this place looks quite good for a screenshot opportunity. If I can get the right angle on this. There we go. Just trying to. That looks pretty. Looks pretty good. There's screenshots. Right. What I'm going to do. The other thing I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to right now press Manage Vehicle. Select Train 8, clone, and we should see it ready to go out of here. And this is where we're going to be picking the train up from. I like being able to do. There we go. I like the way we've got different views on this one. What was up and down again? No. X and Z. That's it. All right. Let's head out. Let's head out and see what we can have. Again, I think this is one of Steve's. They are great. They are great mods. I wish there was a little bit more detail on the mod in terms of just a little bit of smoothness, perhaps to the modelling. Maybe just some turbo smooth to it and a little bit of bevel modifiers on the model would look awesome. But in terms of the mod themselves, for what they do it really well. You just have to bring it a little bit of a distance away and they look great. Obviously, adding in more triangles will result in more problems as well. I just realised something. It is waiting for... Yep, it is waiting. Okay, another opportunity for a screenshot, I guess. How am I going to do this one? Not quite that much. That looks pretty nice. That does look pretty nice. So I guess we'll jump on board that train instead. There we go. That wasn't great, but it's fine. Let's jump on board you with 0 of 24, of course. But what other angles can we take on this one? What's this view? Inside the carriage? Sure, let's do one from inside the carriage, sort of. I don't know. We'll find a. We'll have to get an angle on this one that we can look out from. Let's look out this way. In fact, I suppose if we look at... Oh, I didn't want to do that because of the way... Well, we can stick our head out the window, sure. Why not? There we go, we have our head stuck out the window the entire time. So we get to enjoy it from the perspective of a passenger in this one. And we'll leave it at this kind of angle so we can actually see how it actually looks. So if a passenger was looking out the window, what would it look like? How would it be? So far, looking pretty good. Obviously the farms do need some additional work as time goes on. Clearly you can see we're going downhill. That is a very large fox. Very large. So we have a clear signal. Of course, there's nobody else here. That tree needs to go. I think that conifer needs to go. So does that one in the distance, so I can see. So there's two conifers to be deleted there. The farms look really nice. You can see the dandelions on the ground there. That's nice. I think these little details do also help. So now we are up on an embankment. So I want to see how the lavender looks here. The problem is the distance. You can see the lavender coming into view now, but beyond that it doesn't look right. And that is something I'm hoping the summer update fixes with the render distances. Unless it's just the level of detail on these things, but that does look quite nice. Oh, little bits of lavender on the track as well. And another large fox. And another large fox. No, 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 no. Oh, he's about to get murdered. There he goes. Well, at least we didn't hear him yelp. Right, it's coming around the corner. This is actually quite a nice angle to be looking at things. So we might need to get rid of one tree there so that the engineer can see or the engine driver can see the signal as he comes around the corner. So there is that. I think some of this Z-axis fighting is something they are working on as well. You can just see it with the lights flickering as the textures are fighting each other. This isn't too bad. Going along at 40 miles per hour. There's one of the other trains. Hello, goodbye. I might change that Caledonian Railway train to something similar to this. It is nice, but I'm not sure if it's going to fit the theme. So now I'm just trying to figure out how far away we are from Barnstable at this point. I do not think we are that far. I'm using the wheat farm as a guide. In fact, I can see the station now. The next station is Barnstable, where this train terminates. Wait, that wouldn't be here yet. There'll probably be someone coming through the carriages going, alright, we'll be entering Barnstable soon, so make sure you got your luggage with you, and thank you for travelling on whatever line this is. I really don't know. I've not paid enough to do this. Actually, it depends on where he's from. If he's from somewhere like Bristol and stuff, he would be saying something in that sort of an accent, not just a generic British accent. Just a all right. Next stop, Barnstable. Now I don't know what kind of, I don't know where we're going to be going after Barnstable, but you know, I ain't paid enough for this. So anyway, make sure you have your baggage with you, because if you don't, we'll go take it. We'll take it, and we'll actually, no, that's north. Wait, what's the Bristol accent? What is the Bristol accent? I've actually forgotten. Was that it? I say Bristol. I'm talking about West Country. What is it? Something like? I think it's something a little bit more like this. That's a bit more like it. It's not ain't too bad a view now, is it? Yeah, I think it's something along these lines, but I've not had to use a Bristol or West Country accent in a long time. I've not used one, and I've not heard anybody speaking with one, so that's, I guess that's a bit of a problem. I'm not getting the nuances quite right. I'm not getting it quite right at this point in time. Thank you, autosave, for ruining my day. Would you say autosave over there, or autosave? Thank you, autosave. That sounds more American, though I guess that is where the accent does come from, a little bit. So you will notice patterns in accents. In the United States, you'll notice where you have Irish twangs to them, or Italian twangs, or British twangs to the accent, and that is something that is there. It's just that with the southern counties, with the southern West Country accent. I suppose it is part of the southern counties, isn't it? But the one side, southern counties, normally is you're looking at the other side, not Devon, Cornwall, and all of them, but more like Kent and Sussex and that kind of area. I don't know what I'm doing. It's like me trying to do like the Welsh accent or anything. Again, if I do not use it for a while, I do not know what to do with it. I cannot even remember the Welsh accent off the top of my head, and how to use it off the top of my head. It's if you're trying to do a Welsh accent, is it I cannot remember if it's a little bit of the breathy one, or yes, I suppose if you're doing the Welsh accent, it's a bit more like this. You can see that how it sounds a little bit similar to the West Country accent. Obviously, they're nearby, but this one has a little bit more to say to it, because naturally you have the Welsh language to look at, and because of the Welsh language and how you pronounce things in Welsh, this is where the accent adjusts from English. And that is why I think that is the reason why you have a bit more sing-song in the accent. But I cannot be 100% sure. I'm certainly not sure if I'm doing this one right at all. We are going to be peeling off right now over to the left-hand side. There we go. Heading back towards West Brom. All the trains are over here. What is the point of all these trains being over here? What other accents can I butcher? I cannot do an East Midlands accent, mostly because they annoy me. But I can do a Birmingham accent, which incidentally annoys me a little bit more, but I can still do it. somewhat. It's just a very nasal accent, and you know, I guess when you're just going around in Birmingham, you're talking a bit like this, and again, you can hear the sort of the style of where it is in the world, and or where it is in England, and the nasal. I believe the nasal tone comes from where they used to obviously work in the mines a lot, and because you used to work in the mines, and you used to end up with that just nasal block, and children will pick up and hear their parents speak in that way, and because you hear the parents speaking that way, then they'll pick it up and they'll start speaking the same way, and then before you know it, everyone has this very nasal tone, and that's where you get the Birmingham accent from. And obviously I think the Birmingham accent also is a nice medium between the West Country accent and then going up. If you start going further and start twisting it a little bit, you end up with more like a Scouser accent, and then you start losing some words, and for some reason whenever I start going towards a Scouser accent, though I cannot do it yet, I tend to go higher up in pitch. Now, I cannot do the Scouse accent because they keep taking away words and letters at the end, and I cannot do that. I cannot do that. There, it's like that. That becomes that. Why would you want to do that? It's just the words disappear. And that's as well, disappear. Everything's like just the last syllable just melds in together, and that is what I struggle with. But as I said, I've not done accents in a long time, and so because of that, I have no real concept of them. All I've got to do is listen to an accent for 5 minutes, and I'll be okay and be able to get back into it. British, that is. Never asked me to do an American accent. I cannot. I can do a possible Spanish, Italian, French accent. German's one I struggle with a little bit as well, so there is that. But yeah, there you go. Now we're back on the old track, so I'm going to jump off. Let's jump off board, and let's see. We'll fast forward a little bit. We'll also go forward in date. We are now in 1960. Okay, fine. We're going to go to 1963. There you go. Apparently we do have some extra stuff available to us, but we do not need to... Oh, we could have used that one. We could have really used that one. Never mind, it is absolutely fine. All we've got to do is ensure that this does what it needs to do. So you've got 30 waiting there. There's a train coming in. Where's the next one? You have 14. You have 7. It isn't quite as balanced as I want it to be, but that being said, we can always balance it at a later time. So for now, hopefully you enjoyed the what are these ride-alongs? Yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the ride-alongs. If you did, of course, thumbs up, please. I'd really appreciate the thumbs up. That would very much help me out. Let's do a little bit of painting of rock. Let's do a little bit of painting of rock. Something like this. Let's see what we get. Yep, that looks pretty good. There we go. Just gives it a little bit of more of a texture to it. There we go. Doesn't have to all be rock. Just some of it. You always have some grass growing. Perhaps there's a little bit too much grass growing, but that's okay. So, yep, that's the end of this video. Please remember to hit the like button if you like this video. Subscribe to the channel for more videos on Transport Fever 2. Leave a comment in the comments box below, letting me know what you think. Don't forget to support me on Patreon if you can do so. These videos take an awful long amount of time to make, so that would be massively appreciated. Link is in the description box for that. Also, you can find me on social media at ECGadget LP for both Twitter and Instagram. That is all from me, and I think I will see you next time in Transport Fever 2, where what will I do? That is the big question. Leave your suggestions, and I might do something of that. I think what I want to do is I want to try and start making these roads in a way that the town can grow. So instead of just, you know, houses growing along these roads, I want to have inside roads and all of those kind of things as you would actually get in a town, similar to what I've done. Where are you? Down here in West Mersey, similar to these. And these, I want to start getting roads in all the towns. So I think I might do that in the next video, and then beyond that we will obviously continue building up down to New Romney and so on and so forth. But yes, that is all from me, and I will see you next time in Transport Fever 2, the UK modded series, for more UK building action.